Millions of Americans tuned in to last night's vice presidential debate on CBS. The showdown between Senator J.D. Vance and Governor Tim Walz was likely the last debate before the general election. Earlier today, we asked you for your thoughts on the debate. 12 News' Kevin Quinn brings us more.
After Tuesday's vice presidential debate, we asked you to weigh in with your thoughts. A common theme amongst many was the difference between this debate and September's presidential debate, with Shelley J. saying the decorum of these two was a refreshing change. If they were on a ticket together, we would have a true winner. I would love to see J.D. Vance for president with Tim Walz to balance him as his VP. Together, they can really make America great again. Patty S. echoed a similar sentiment, saying, two good debaters, respectful of each other, stuck to speaking about policy and no personal attacks on one another. However, both avoided answering some questions. For Donna S., she says the winner last night was the people. I do not understand why we as Americans feel there has to be a winner and a loser in a debate. How wonderful that we had a debate where we could agree on parts of an issue and disagree on parts in a civil manner. The winner last night was we, the people. Both did not always tell the truth, as is usual in these, but overall issues were discussed and points were made. You could walk away from this debate feeling hopeful that at some point the parties can get back to meeting in the middle and coming to an agreement that benefits Americans instead of tearing us apart. Eddie H. also called the debate refreshing, saying the debate was civilized, which was refreshing. Many interesting policy points made by both gentlemen. The most important moment of the debate was Vance unwilling to admit that Trump lost the 2020 election. Election denying is destroying our democracy. Christina G. also weighed in, saying one candidate impressed her. J.D. Vance was really impressive. The VP debate confirms my vote for Trump and Vance. While other comments mentioned a good balance between Vance and Walz, I think Vance will balance Trump. The general election is just 34 days away. Kevin Quinn, 12 News, Broome County.